Hey guys, I just had a couple additional thoughts that kind of tag onto the end of our show today. Is divorce my only option? And it's all about sort of the pain and hurt dynamic in a marriage that you're trying to heal. And I hope that that makes sense. I'm not quite clear on how to language this or say it correctly, but when Seth and I went through everything and he confessed to lying and looking at pornography when I had a newborn and a 1 year old, I was devastated. I was like, I'm out. Peace out. I'm mad at you. I hate you. We're done. But he wanted to change. He obviously wanted to change by confessing and changing his behavior. So his behaviors changed immediately. He started to do the prayer alarms. He was calling me every day to pray. He was obviously not looking at porn. Like all of these things changed on his side. But from my perspective, he had just destroyed me. He had just broken apart my trust. And at that time, I felt like my world was crumbling in. I felt like everything was fake. Would it even matter? Like he doesn't even love me. So the dynamic that I'm trying to explain here that I think happens often, and we see it happen, but I've never heard anybody talk about it, is that I wanted to show Seth all of the pain that this confession caused me. And there's this weird thing. It's almost like, well, it is grief, like the grieving process when you lose a friend or a loved one. There's that process. And if you haven't lost a friend or a loved one, you might not understand what I mean. But for example, when we had to put our dog Ellie to sleep, we had to put her down. She had cancer. And there was this familiarity of seeing her every day, hearing the sounds she makes, how she waited at the door or how she shuffled at night when we were sleeping. And when those things were gone, sometimes you wouldn't even notice they were gone. And then a month later, you'd be like, oh, I don't hear her. And the sadness would come back. It's the same thing with grieving deception in your marriage, a lack of trust, a breach of trust, all of those things it's like this process, months, weeks, sometimes years long, where you realize, oh, I never had that safety or security. Or when we were at that party, you were actually, gambling and I didn't know it, or you lied to me then. So it is a process for the person who has been wounded. It is a process, a grieving process, really. So if you're on the other side of that, like in our case, you're on Seth's side where he's saying, I'm going to change my behavior. I'm going to pray every day. I'm not looking at porn. I'm not lying to you. What happens is that the hurt partner wants to walk you through that hurt. Does that make sense? So I would want to show Seth, well, don't you see how it hurts? Look at how it hurts right now. And I would want to connect all of the dots to show him my pain, to validate that it was real. And the weirdest thing is that when he didn't act upset about it, it almost made me more upset because I wanted him to match my emotions of being sad and hopeless and overwhelmed and all of those things. So I don't know if this is helpful. I don't know if it makes any sense. But it really stands out as being important in our story that the grieving process of breaking trust or harming a marriage or whatever is weeks, months, years long. And sometimes it pops up when you think you've already gotten over it and you're like, wait, why am I so upset about this? Or why am I so sad? Or why is this making me cry? Or why is this making me angry? So understand that from a person who's trying to heal, but then on the other side too, like the person who's trying to change, understand that your partner is not into it. They want to remind you, this is why you hurt me. This is why I cried so much. This is why I want to leave you. This is why I think divorce is our best option. So it's this really weird dance that takes a really long time to get through. But I want to give you encouragement, and I want to honestly say, pray together, do the things you know are going to get you in the direction of a healthy, strong marriage, even if it's broken right now. So again, I hope this all makes sense. It just kind of came to me and I didn't want to ignore it. I didn't want to just like, I don't need to post that or whatever. So I hope this makes sense. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Bye.